Hey honeybees, hope you're doing well. We are picking up where we left off at chapter 22 of Wishtree. We executed plan number 1 an hour and a half later when Stephen headed off to school. He had gotten only as far as the sidewalk when Bongo drove straight towards his backpack. Poking at the zipper with her beak, she called frantically. When crows want to be loud, they can be extremely loud. What? Stephen cried. What is wrong with you? Bird? He dropped his backpack to the ground. Bongo landed on the backpack, looking up at him hopefully. Chip, please, she said. Stephen rolled his eyes. Seriously? Hello, Bongo said. Chip, please. Stephen put his hands on his hips. Okay, fine. I've seen you in action. Working the bus line. Bongo hopped to the ground as Stephen unzipped his backpack. You rock, she said politely. Stephen pulled out his lunch bag and opened it. Let's see, I've got a tuna fish sandwich, carrot sticks. But before he could say anything more, Bongo plunged into the backpack, grabbed a sheet of paper, and flew skyward. Hey, that's my English homework, Stephen cried. Come back here, you thief. Bongo flew high into my branches and landed with a victorious call. Stephen stalked around the bottom of my trunk, where the yellow police tape encircled me. Please, Crow, he pleaded. I'll give you my whole sandwich, please. Bongo perched on the paper, freeing her beak. No way, she replied. A few more minutes of grumbling, and Stephen gave up. Great, he muttered as he grabbed his backpack. Miss Kellerman is never going to believe me when I tell her a crow ate my homework. Chapter 23. When Samar exited her house, it was time for the rest of our plan. She paused, as she always did, to say hello. And Bongo, as she always did, said hello back. But this time, Bongo surprised Samar by landing on her shoulder and presenting her with a mangled piece of paper. Samar took it from Bongo. This has Stephen's name on it. Why on earth do you have it? No way, Bongo said by way of an answer. Well, I'll be sure he gets this, Samar said. Bongo gave a little caw and headed back to me. Perfect, a simple plan, beautifully executed. Samar would give the homework to Stephen. They'd strike up a conversation about the crazy crow in the big oak tree. They'd laugh, they'd share. They'd realize they have a lot in common. Voila, friendship. It was a great plan, except for the part that came just seconds later, the part where Samar noticed a friend of Stephen's walking by. She dashed over and asked him to give Stephen the piece of paper. And that was that. Meddling isn't as easy as I thought it would be, I confessed to Bongo. Hey, I did my part. You were wonderful, I said. Well, we'll just have to try again. We don't have a lot of time. Red, Bongo said with a sigh, please don't remind me. Chapter 24. That afternoon, we tried plan number 2. This isn't going to work, Red, Bongo said, strutting back and forth to the lawn. Pessimist, I said. Optimist, she replied. Secretly, I had my doubts, though. Our second plan required help from one of the babies. There had been so much bickering over which baby would get to assist us, but then there'd been plenty of bickering ever since Francesca threatened to cut me down. It frustrated me to see my residents, the ones who miraculously began getting along so well, turn on one another when faced with a problem. Granted, it was a big problem, but if I could handle it, it seemed like at least the least they could do was behave during our last days together. Bongo flipped a penny she kept in her collection of treasures, and we arrived at our helper, the smallest baby possum Flashlight. Let me get this straight, said Bongo. You're afraid of Flash? Shh! Harry Spiders hissed. We try not to say that word around him. So what do you actually call him? Angie's asked. He answers to Flash, Harry Spiders explained. Well, Flash, said Bongo, you understand the drill, right? You pretend to be dead. You guys are good at that, right? Flash nodded excitedly. Possums are the best dead pretenders in the world. So you play dead, Samar, and Stephen see... So you play dead. Samar and Stephen see you as they're coming home from school. We're hoping they come home about the same time today, I interrupted. And they freak out, Bongo continued. See the cute little maybe dead baby talk about what to do? Are you certain this is safe? Asked Harry Spiders. I'm feeling a little faint just thinking about it. We'll all be watching, and Stephen and Samar are smart kids, I reassured her. They know not to touch a sick animal. So they go get their parents, call a wildlife rescue place or maybe a vet, and while they're busy, Bongo continued, little Flash runs back to his den. Samar and Stephen come back out, have a good laugh about the vanishing possum. Maybe the parents even get to talking. I really think you would do a better job, Big U complained. She's a born actor. Or you. This has been officially decided, Bongo said firmly. We flipped the penny, remember? Just saying, Big U muttered. Down the street, the school dismissal bell rang. Places, everyone, Bongo urged. This is totally going to work, I said. This is totally going to fail, Bongo said at the very same instant. Chapter 25. And action, Bongo whispered. Little Flash waddled out to the middle of the lawn. He lay down on his side and curled up. He closed his eyes. He drew back his lips, revealing tiny, needle-sharp teeth. Perfect, Bongo said. Try foaming at the mouth, dear, Harry Spiders called. Here's a picture. Down the street, we could see Stephen approaching. Luckily, Samar was just a few yards behind him. Flash leapt up. How am I doing, Ma? Wonderfully, my baby, said Harry Spiders. Mommy is so proud of her little baby possum. Be dead, Bongo cried. Oh, yeah, Flash struggled. Kind of forgot, Aunt Bongo. Not your aunt, Bongo said. I'm not even a member of your species. Well, that doesn't really matter, I chided. Be dead, Bongo cried again. Flash hiccuped. Oh my, said Harry Spiders. He does that when he's nervous. How come I can't be dead, Mom? Asked Rose Petal. Newbies, quiet, Bongo commanded. Flash, stop hiccuping, dude. Here they come, I whispered. Stephen and Samar. The hiccups got louder. Oh dear. Flashlight, Bongo said. Now, don't call him that, his mother cried. Flashlight froze. He stopped hiccuping. Foam dripped from his mouth. His half-open eyes were glazed and unseen. It works, Bongo whispered. Brilliant. Stephen found Flash first. Samar was close behind. What should we do? Stephen asked. Success, I thought. They were actually talking to each other. Don't touch it, said Samar. It might be rabid, or it could just be playing dead. I read that possums will do that. I'll go get my mom. Maybe she can call someone. Sounds good, said Samar. To my disappointment, Stephen and Samar nodded at each other and promptly went into their separate houses. And once again, that was that. All that work just for a few moments of conversation. How exactly did people make friends? How hard could it be? Still, I reminded myself, Stephen and Samar had spoken to each other, and that was a good first step, wasn't it? Flash, Bongo called. Time to go back to your den, buddy, before they come back. Flash remained frozen in a little possum ball. Flash, I called. Flash, baby, Harry Spiders yelled. Oh, my, said Big U. I don't think your baby's acting. My baby, my precious Flash, cried Harry Spiders, and Flash's brother and sister began to wail. You really should have used one of my U's, Big U said. Flash, stop being dead, Bongo yelled. She hopped over to Flash and gently poked him with her beak. How dare you peck my son, Harry Spiders yelled. Flash, I'll save you, baby. Harry Spiders dashed out of her hollow, scrambled down my trunk, and promptly fainted. Oh, great, said Bongo. Just fantastic, like mother, like son. What now, wise old tree? You grab Flash, I instructed. Fresh baked bread. And Big U, can you rescue Harry Spiders? Pull her over to Fresh's den under the porch. Harry Spiders called my children boisterous, Big U said. Big U said my children stunk, Fresh baked bread said. Over 2 centuries of my life, I had hardly ever raised my voice. This was one of those times. Now, I commanded, just as the door to Stephen's house opened. You'd be surprised how fast raccoons and skunks can be when they're motivated. Hope you enjoyed that. We will pick up on chapter 26 tomorrow.